Well, I think there are two different things, assessment for learning and assessment as learning. So if you start with assessment for learning, I think that's using teacher using assessment methods to gather information about how the students, where the students are, what the students are understanding, what the students know. And I think so that's the first part of it, and then she will or he will use that information to tailor their teaching to the needs of the students, which is difficult because you have to be very flexible. And if you arrive in a classroom and the students don't know what you expect them to know, then your plan goes out of the window. So that's assessment for learning. Assessment as learning, I think it's the process of learning through doing assessment. So for example, peer assessment and self-assessment. You're learning by assessing self or by assessing your peers. And I think that's crucial for your ability to learn in a way. I think feedback's difficult. I think there are approaches that can work very well. So for example, many teachers adopt an approach by which if they mark the students' work, they will write a comment and then they require the students to respond to that comment. So it's not just a meaningless tick or a 5 out of 10 or something. It's a comment and then the student always needs to respond. And those books go home so the parents see them. That's one kind of feedback. You can imagine it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort. And I guess if you want to do things like that well, you do have to put in a lot of effort. Then there are things like feedback in the classroom. I think you have to know your subject very well. And I think some teachers struggle, they don't quite know how to give feedback. They quite often just don't know how to respond if they don't have the subject knowledge. The expert teachers with good subject knowledge would always seem to know how to move the students on by asking them questions, by pointing out which bits they've got done well and which bits they need to improve. One problem is that I think teachers quite often do it in quite a formulaic way, and so they maybe ask their students for a thumbs up or a thumbs down to show they understand, but then they don't do anything with that information. Quite often because it's just too difficult. So as I said, yeah, it takes a lot of effort and expertise.